Well, we have half an hour left, so it's good enough time for us to have a look at SAP. I'll tell you about all the concepts that we have talked about in this presentation. I'll also show you on SAP. Yeah, but at the end of the session, please provide a feedback. You can go to my site. There's a place for feedback. Please provide your feedback so I can improve things. Okay, so let's log into SAP. So we talked about GUI, right? This is what is GUI. You can see SAP GUI here for Windows. And here it says ECC EHP8. So it is ECC, not S4HANA. Okay, you click on log on. It will bring this screen. You see this client 800 and it says it is an IDS client. So IDS is basically a training box that SAP has created. And this is for in ECC. The reason why I'm taking ECC, not S4HANA, because S4HANA will not have any data. SAP has decided that it will not have any data in S4HANA. And there are just some data which are user created and it will not give us any insight. So most of it, I think 90% of it is similar in ECC and HANA, except the other technical sides. So we can still run ECC and we can learn. Now you see the login language, EN. So you can actually run SAP in multiple languages. You have to implement multi-languages in SAP. You can run in Chinese, you can run in many languages, not in Hindi though. Okay, so this is a very neatly designed, menu that you land into the moment you log in. This is a tree kind of a structure, kind of a hierarchical structure. You click on it, it keeps collapsing and expanding. So it expands till the transaction level and it can collapse again. You see the three areas which we discussed: accounting, logistics, and human resources. This says that there are some other areas, minor ones, information systems, tools. So this is on the left-hand side, the transaction menus. There is some option here. You can come here and you want to change the color and those things, some of the themes, you can change it here. This is a SAP signature scheme which I have taken. SAP screen will look different on different users. Don't think that they're using different versions of SAP. If you come here at the bottom, there are a lot of information. It says what is the system is this. So it is Enhancement Pack 8, EHP8. Before that it was EHP7. Okay, the client is 800. That's the name of the client. The user is me. This is my ID. The program which is running here on the screen is this. Transaction code is this. Response time. Okay, we can leave that one, and talks about SAP server. We are okay. So this is given in the bottom tray. There's some help here. You may like to learn something. You can put, and SAP will bring up whatever material it has. You want to say create more sessions, you can click here and it will create another session, right? So now you can see this session is different than this one. And if you want to generate a shortcut, you can do that. This is meant to scroll up and down the page, very simple. It's there in most of the applications. I won't go into much detail. There's some help menus. If you go to user profile, your own data, then you can do some of this thing. You can change some defaults here and you can save it. So it will get applied for you whenever you log in. Okay, for example, the date format and other things. There are a lot of parameter setting that you can do. I'm not getting into it, but more, for example, every time you want to post into one company code, you can set it up, or one plant, you can set it up. Okay, so that is about that. Let me see. Okay, so extras, you can set start transaction. So when I started, I landed in this menu, but instead of that, I want to land directly into a transaction processing screen. For example, I'm someone who is into invoice processing, so I will put one invoice processing transaction code. If I'm a consultant, I'll put SPRO. So every time I log in, it will directly log into that screen. Okay, so for example, this is the place where you put the transaction codes. So for example, you put SPRO. So this screen looks different because this is a customizing screen. Okay, so you can execute transaction codes from here. It saves your earlier transaction code and you can execute it with a click and you can go back. So this is the transactions where you can execute. I've talked about many things here. This is the normal menu. You can also have a user-defined menu so that if you want to just see the transaction that you want is part of the user profile, then that is also possible. You can come into any of this transaction code, okay, and now do a right click and say add to favorites. You can save it as a favorite. So if you're someone who is doing a lot of document entry, and for example, company code, you can set it up in your profile, which I have shown. So you enter the company code here and you directly get into the transaction code, transaction screen. Okay, so I've shown you the overview of the screen. You understand various components. Let us slightly get deep into these three things. So human resource I will leave. There's not much of relevance for any of us, and then we'll come into accounting. So logistics, like I said, everything excluding accounting and human resources is here. So you have material management. If you expand this, then you have purchasing, inventory management. So in purchasing, you can create purchase order quotations and all that, which we discussed, as part of the business process. You have physical inventory valuation. So various transactions within that that you can execute within this, and most of it then will post an entry to SAP wherever there's a monetary impact. Okay, so logistics. Then next is the sales and distribution, which we learned in the order to pay process. So you have master data where you have an order you can create. Then you will have a sales. Sorry, this will be here: inquiry, quotation, order, contract. I touched based on all these kind of words and terms. So after that, you'll have a shipping and transportation, billing. Okay, so you can see the billing document. You can create a billing document. You can display a billing document. So all these transaction codes are all clubbed under the sales and distribution. And then logistic execution, where your actual delivery happens, inbound process, outbound process, transportations, the production. So you'll have master data, the metal master, bill of material, work center, routings, or the recipes that we call SOPs, DRPs, production planning, MRP that we talked about, is here. So you can execute multi-level, single-level planning. Okay, so a lot of these capabilities are all very neatly, kept, and you can easily find out very logically. There's also find here. You can use that find if you want to find something that can be helpful to you if you are not able to find. Then the production process. To go to, say, process order, these are the process orders. You can change, you can display, you can release, do all that with the process orders. Every component may have reporting. So mostly this we have covered the production. Plant maintenance, which is relevant for And then the quality management, which takes care of the quality aspect. Now come to accounting. So all the modules that we talked about, whenever transaction happens which has a monetary impact, will post to financial accounting and controlling. Okay, so these two are the most important part. There are some other systems depending upon your implementation. You will work on it, but these two will cover almost 90 to 95% of everything that you know you do as a as a finance person. So financial accounting, again, very neatly divided into general ledger, account receivable, payable, bank, and fixed assets. There are a few more depending upon the implementation that you do. Okay, within general ledger, you have document entry. You can see the document, see the account. Okay, master records, for example, creation of a GL account. You can create a GL account here. And then you can display a document entry. So when you click on it, it takes you into that screen. So you can post document, invoice, or any adjustment entry. So not an invoice, because this is a GL transaction. So mostly you'll post a adjustment entry. Do you want to exit editing? Yes. Okay, so this is the GL. Mainly, GL is concerned about the integration with SD, MM, PP. So all the transactions relating to sales, purchase, production are posted in the general ledger, and the transaction which comes from account receivable, payable, and fixed assets, which finally is used to draw out a P&L and balance sheet. And in account receivable, you'll have a document entry where you will enter the invoice and credit memo. Okay, you can see the documents here. There's a concept of park document and post document. So parking document is, before the posting stage, if you want to still confirm, want to do some checks, to get it for approval, then you'll park it. Okay, once it is approved or you have checked, you can post it. Okay, so then comes the periodic processing, where you can run some of the foreign exchange valuation or reclassifications at the month end. So accounts payable, very similar to account receivable, same, document entry, document account, master accounts, periodic processing, reporting. Okay, then comes the controlling. So I talked about 6 components, right? Cost element, cost center, internal orders. Activity-based costing is not that popular, not widely used. Product cost, profitability, and profit center accounting. If your company has implemented activity-based costing, then it will be relevant for you. But normally, knowing about these 6 is going to cover 98% of controlling. So cost element accounting, like I've said, is one which is related to the general ledger that you want to post to the controlling. Where it is gone, yeah. And then the cost centers. So you will have cost centers master data. You will have a hierarchy of, say, a cost center. Okay, so this is the hierarchy of cost centers. You can expand it. So this is your say manufacturing, and within that, this is the cost center. So you, like I mentioned, you can have a hierarchy, your organization structure completely built into SAP. So this is a German plant, and there's a corporate department. Within that, there's an executive board, and these are the cost centers for that. Okay, these are costs. So you can run report at whatever level you want. You can run report at this level, at this level, at this level, whatever level you want to run, or you can want to control. You can control at different levels. So how you will design standard hierarchy depends on the way you want to control. Because controlling is all about control, right? And then you create a cost center. You can group different cost centers, define activities that happens in different cost centers, especially the production cost centers, where you may have a labor activity or a machine activity, quality is an activity. So you can define them, and you can define a cost for them, which then finally goes debited to the production order. You can do planning in cost centers for the cost centers and a combination of cost centers and activity. And then you can do actual postings. There are period and closing transactions, which are mostly transferring cost from one cost center to another cost center. So you do that. Then the internal order, which I talked about. So these are master data for creating internal order. And then you can plan on the internal order. You will have an actual costing, actual posting for that. And at the month end, you can see the variance, or you can post it. You can close it. You can settle that internal order. You can also have a statistical internal order where you are not posting to any cost center. For example, you have a motor vehicle cost center, which has got say 10 vehicles. Now you want to manage, or you want to actually see the cost by these 10 vehicles. So one option you have is that you create 10 different cost centers by 10 different cars, but which means that you are increasing the number of your cost centers. What you do is you create a statistical internal order, which are attached to this cost center, and all the costs which relates to those vehicle gets posted in the cost center. It also gets posted in the internal order. So statistically, you can analyze the cost in the cost center by different cars. So if you say 10 lakhs the cost posted in a month, you can analyze by those 10 cost center, by 10 cars, what was the salary for that BMW car, what was the salary you paid for Mercedes car. So you can do that. So that is what internal order can be. A statistical can be the real one. And then the product cost controlling, where you will define, you'll first plan the cost. So you will create the standard cost. The costing run you can use to create the standard cost. Okay, and after that, you will do a controlling, which means that the cost now gets posted to the order. So by period or by order, by sales order. If it is a make to order scenario, you can use by sales order. If it is a make to order, make to stock scenario, you can have it posted by the order or by period. So there are a lot of these combinations used depending upon how the system is configured and set up for you. So after you've done all that, you have planned your cost, you have done the posting to the production orders, comes the actual costing of material ledger that we learned about in the finance transformation. So you'll have material ledger where you can look at different materials as a ledger. Okay, so and then comes the profitability analysis report, where you have master data, do planning, and then you do the actual posting, and you can compare the what you have planned and what you have actually achieved. So plan versus actual comparison can do. And profit center accounting, like I said, is all about your SBU management. So you can let me just show you the hierarchy that will help you understand how will this look like. So here they have created different profit centers, and they have grouped it into different hierarchy. Okay, so you can This is like elevator, which is one of the SBUs. Okay, so that they have done. So these are like vehicles, pumps, chemical products. There are various SBUs which have been defined as a profit centers. And within the vehicle, you can have motorcycle and automobile as a sub SBU. Okay, and you can run report at any level. You can run at automobile, you can run at vehicle, you can run at Europe level also. Okay, so controlling them in that in SAP is very versatile. You can achieve a lot in controlling. Okay, so that's what we looked at. Broadly the areas. Now let me run some report for you. We have about 10 minutes, right? So this is F.01 report, which is a P&L and balance sheet that you do. You can enter a chart of account, a range, multiple chart of account. You can run the report by a specific GL account, or you can even run by company code. Let me run by company code. You can also run this report by multiple company codes. Okay, let me just, and then there are financial statement version. You can create multiple versions. Versions are like different layouts you want to see. Okay, and let me run this report. So I'll show you what does that layout would even mean like. So this is one kind of layout where you have an asset, liabilities, profit and loss statement. So you can, put your imagination based on your requirement. You may have one requirement for your auditors. You may have one requirement for your management, one requirement for yourself, the way you want to see. So you can create, or maybe one kind of requirement for your business areas. So that you can do. You can create different versions in this. Now let me go into see one of the entry and I'll show you. So from here I can go down to say domestic sales, and this is the account. Okay, now I opened multiple sessions here. What I'll do is I want to go into an account. So this is the transaction, and if you see FAGL B03 is another T code for this transaction. I have this account. Okay, and the company code is 1000. Let me take the fiscal year 2020, and you see the ledger here is GROL. If I want, I can choose another ledger if it is defined already. But in case if it is not defined, only one ledger is there, so I can't select. So multiple ledger has not been implemented for this company code. So when I execute this, you'll see the account. This is how the account looks like: debit, credit, and balance, and the cumulative balance. This balance then gets carried forward if it is a balance sheet account. If it is not, then it goes to the P&L. Okay, so you can double click here. When you double click, it will open up another screen and it will give you by transaction. So a lot of information here basically gives you by document. I had talked about a document, right? So every document will have a unique document number. It will define the business area for that document, the document type. Different transactions will have a different document type. Okay, so the amount, it can have multiple currencies. The amount is in US dollar, and here the amount is in euro, and the profit centers or the segment to which it relates to. So now what I want to do is I want to say, let's say, go into one document and show you how does the document look like inside. Okay, so when I click on this kind of sunrise kind of structure, it gives me the accounting entry. So posting key is the debit credit in SAP. 50 is credit, 40 is debit. Okay, so here the credit is to the sales revenue and debit goes to the petty cash journal. This is test system, so a new account can be done. But it is for us. We can configure any account whenever we have to. So then there is an output tax also involved, which is credited. Okay, important information here. This is called the header, and this is called the lines item. So you have a document number. You got document date, the date which was printed on the document, the company code to which it is posted, fiscal year in which it is posted, period in which it is posted. Okay, the posting date. Okay, and if you come here to this head, it will show you the entry date. So entry date and entry time. Now, how will SAP determine which period to post? Which period it should show? So, in a year, fiscal year, which say runs from January to December, you have 12 months. And let's say the document date is of November. You are posting it in December. No, so you are posting it in January. Okay. So, how will it? You are doing the entry in January, but your posting date is in December. So, let me put it again. Document date is November. Entry is happening in January after the year is closed, and the posting date is December. So SAP will post the transaction in the posting period determined based on the posting date. So if the posting date is for the month of December, it will post it in December, and when you run the December report, you will see that transaction in the month of December. It doesn't matter when on the date it was entered. So it may have been entered in January. So long as the posting period is open, if you are allowed to post it, you can post it. And document date is just for reference. It does not determine the period. Okay, so it is very important. These entry dates are important from an audit perspective as well. And this is the T code which was used to post this transaction. So this shows you everything that has happened in the document. And you can also have a general ledger view if you have implemented different general ledgers. So this is because multiple ledgers were not there, so it just shows one ledger. Okay, now let us go to the environment and see the original document from where this entry has come. So it has come from a cash journal, okay, which is a finance journal. I actually want to take an entry which should have come from which is this account, sales revenue. Should have come from SD module or other modules, okay? So environment, document, so go to the original document. So what was this document about? You are crediting cells and you are debiting a data, a party. So account number is 1001. Okay, there is a profit center. Billing document number is given here. Okay, segment for the purpose of segment reporting is given here. So you go to the original document, and this is the original document, which is the billing document. Okay. When you go to environment again, so display document flow. So it shows you that there was a order created, there was a delivery that happened, there's an invoice created, and an accounting document was posted, which is not cleared. So if the payment has not come, then the invoice is outstanding. If the payment has come and the knocking off has not happened, then it shows uncleared. But it is showing cleared, which means it has been knocked off. So this is a material document. How you know it is MB03 transaction code? It starts from M. All the transactions start from M will be material transaction. This is a movement type. So 601 movement type, which has resulted in the movement of this, which is an goods that has been dispatched out. Okay. So GD goods issue delivery. Okay. Now if you look at the accounting document, so there's an accounting document, there's a profit center document, special purpose ledger, and controlling document. This is how it was structured, before HANA. But in HANA, there's some difference to this. Let us see the mix and remove the conversation engaged. Okay, so let me. Okay, so this is the document that I want to see. It will not allow me in the screen because of this message. It is an error message. In SAP, you get different kind of messages. When it is red, then it is an error. If it is yellow, then it is warning. You can still go forward. but red will not allow you to go forward. When you enter here, you see this document. So here the trading goods has been credited, which means finished goods is going out, okay, and inventory change is debited. And this is the entry that happens when you do a PGI, post good issue, in SAP. So as you can now see, I have shown you one integrated transaction which of the business process, starting from order, delivery, invoice, billing, and then finally the accounting entry and the clearing of that. So let us run one profitability analysis report called KE30. Okay, I'll go by the transaction code. Ask for an operating concern. I know this. It is India, and I'm using a costing-based profitability analysis. And I got many reports. I will just blindly run one report to show you if it gives some output. Let me take. Okay, so this gives me a profitability analysis. So let's look at division. Okay, so it has got multiple divisions, and what this specific report is doing is there is a say plan and actual, and it is calculating the variance against it and the percentage of variance. Okay, you can build a report of your choice. I'm just telling you, showing you, on real time, it can show you all this kind of thing. It can show you the profitability, it can show you what you plan and what is the actual. It can show you by customer, how much is your variance. It can show by metal group. And there are different formats in which these reports can be prepared. This is prepared using something called Report Painter. Okay, and you can also see by sales order your profitability. So you can get down to that level of detail. Each and every order you can see the. Of course, this is not very well set up, so it may not give you the correct variance. But if it is set up correct, then it will give you the correct figures. So this one was PA report. So let us look at one profit center accounting report. Okay, so then we can close it. So we go to accounting, controlling, profit center accounting, and then we'll go to information systems, report, interactive reporting, and let us take one and let us run and see what output it gives. So we'll take a period 1 to 12, plan version 0. Okay, values, you see, it's some problem. Hopefully it gives a good output. Yeah. So here it is giving for all the SBUs by account number, it is giving you the output. If you want to see it by SBUs, then you have motorcycles. Okay. Want to see motorcycle further, you can see it by period 1 to 12. You can see it by functional areas, revenue, service, manufacturing, sales and marketing. You can see it by origin object, which is, I'll show you one second. Cancel the selection. So which object has posted, like whether it is a cost center that has posted or billing document has posted. Like I said, it is an integrated system. So it gets posted through different components, right? Different objects. So this you can show it by plant, actual and variance. If you have defined, profit center at that level. So this is a profit center report. Now, what I've shown you till now is the user side. Let me just also show you briefly in few minutes. I think we are up the time. I'm sure you are having a lot of patience. So this is the IMG or the implementation guide or the customization, which is where most of the consultants they work. So there's a lot, but what is important is like enterprise structure I talked about. So you'll first define it. So within financial accounting, you'll define your company. Then you'll define your company code, business area, functional areas, and profit centers. And in controlling, you'll define your controlling area, cost centers. Now you need to create an enterprise structure. So how will you create a structure? You will assign it. So if you go to financial accounting, it says assign company code to company. So you may have 5 company code, you are assigning it to one company, which will be like you want to use it for consolidation. You are assigning credit control company code to credit control areas. You are assigning business area to consolidation business areas. So these are the assignment it happens. So a relationship is created. The way in an organization structure, you have relationship created between a box at the bottom with the box higher up. That's what we are doing here. And you go to metals management, you see you can assign warehouse to plant storage locations, purchasing organization to plant, you can assign purchasing organization to company code. Okay, so you can do all these assignments, assign plant to company code. So which is where I give an example, like you have 5 plants and you have got 2 company codes. This is how you will define in SAP that this 3 plant belongs to company code A and this 2 plant belongs to company code B. This is how SAP will know that the materials movement in the plant will have to be posted to the company code A and the metal movement in the plant 5 will have to be posted to company code B. Okay, so these are we create an enterprise structure, and then there are a lot of settings which happens starting from creation of company codes to setting up the number range, creating of document types, and all that. Various fields to be set up. All that happens in this flow. Okay, so with this, what I have done is I have given you an overview of SAP. If any of you have got, let me just see if. Can you please explain how to extract FI manual entries? You can go to document, just put the document number, and you can see the document. There are reports that you can run, and you can see the entries. There is you have mentioned about manual entries. There are automated entries versus manual entries. There are different document types that are used for that purpose. You can run reports by different document types, and you can know it. Sir, we want to know which inventory valuation method used by Indian companies in India, which used SAP system in case of manufacturing. See, we have to define all this. Inventory valuation method depends upon your company, how you want to set it up. Do you want to value it based on standard cost? How frequently you want to review a standard cost, every 15 days, every month? So all will depend on your company. So when before SAP is finally implemented, there are a lot of phases it goes through. The first phase it goes through is where the requirement documentations are done, where the consultant will study all your business processes. They'll map it to SAP. They'll create a gap document which will say, what are the processes that can't be mapped to SAP. For that, a different solution will need to be created. After which, there's in the development box, SAP is configured, tested, it is sent to quality box, there it is tested, and then finally it goes to production. Users are trained, and then so it's a whole process. And during this process, each and everything is defined, including the inventory valuation methods. Okay, so if any of you have any questions, you want to unmute and ask, you can do that. We can maybe spend 2-3 minutes and then we can part. I think we are already up the time, but I don't mind if you have got any questions. But again, this was an overview session, but I have designed it in a way that it gives you a very thorough overview. Now, when you walk into any SAP environment, you will know various components of SAP. You will at least navigate. Someone is navigating through SAP. You are not lost. You know how a transaction code is accessed. You know how a document is accessed. You know some of the reports that are run. Okay, so thanks a lot, guys, for sticking around and for attending this session. Please provide your feedback on my website, and let us be in touch. You can connect with me on LinkedIn or WhatsApp or Facebook. Okay, so with that, good night, goodbye, keep safe, and we may again meet in some other session that I may conduct. So I'll send you the invite. If you're interested, you can join in. Okay, bye then.